The middle of the Tovshin Chovs was a time when not too many Hanochos of the Rebbe's Farbrengens would come out. Because usually Rabbi Leibel Khan was the one that would write the Hanochos. He was the Chazer, so he Chazer the Farbrengens, and then he would write it up, and it would be Hanoch Bilti Muge, and then it would be stenciled, it would be given out. But those times, he was very, very busy over his head with so many other things, including the Sefer HaErkim, so he wasn't able to do it. So a few of us got together and said, let us maybe try to see what we could do to give it out. The Seder was Chazorah, Rabbi Leibel would Chazer, and then the other people who helped Chazorah were there and would work on Chazorah. And one of the people also who would help in Chazorah was Rabbi Avram Galitzky. He would be sitting by Chazorah, but he would also take notes of Chazorah. And then, after that, he would sit down and type up the Farbrengen. And this was something private. I mean, I would also get involved with it together with him, and I would also, after he finished writing it up and typing it, I would look it over and give my comments and together. But this was still all private. This was called Hanocha Protis, a private Hanocha. This was not something to be given out. So we decided, with the encouragement of Reb Noske Wolf, who was one of the Elder Bochrim 770 at that time, and decided that we're going to try to make the Hanocha better and give it out officially. So the first one that we gave out was the one for Parsha Mishpotim Tovshin Chovov. We sat down together to work on it. Mainly the one that wrote it was Rabbi Avram Galitzky, but together we were discuss it and work on it, and then I would also look it over, and we together worked on it, and we gave out, the first one was for Parsha Mishpotim Tovshin Chovov. First we gave it out, it was called on a blue stencil, which was not such an official way of giving it out. The black stencil was the more official way, but we gave out because we were afraid to give it out, so we gave out Parsha Mishpotim, and we called it that this is Hanochos Hatmimim Bilti Muge. The reason we changed from the word Hanocha Bilti Muge to Hanochos Hatmimim Bilti Muge, because the Hanochos that Rabbi Leibel made were official good Hanochos, and that was Hanocha Bilti Muge. We wanted that people should know that this is not the same. This is only written by some Bochrim. We were Bochrim at that time, just by some Bochrim, and Hanocha is probably not as good. So we wanted to make sure that people know it. So we called it Hanochos Hatmimim Bilti Muge. And we gave it out on a blue stencil. But then we decided we'll do it more. And for the next Farbrengen, next time we gave out the Farbrengen, which was Parsha Vayakel Pekudei, we gave out on black stencil. And obviously the first copy we gave him was to the Rebbe. And then this was the one that was publicized. And then from then on, we started giving out more Hanochas, more frequent. And that's how it continued. Now, officially, we didn't hear anything from the Rebbe, whether the Rebbe is happy or not. Really, in connection to the Farbrengen of Parsha Tildis, Tovshin Chov Zayin, we, meaning Rabbi Galitzky and myself, wrote something up of an answer that the Rebbe gave, that the Rebbe wrote to try to ask the Rebbe if it's correct, because he wanted to add it to the Hanocha that we're giving out, and we gave it in. And the way it was actually, that we gave it to Rabbi Chadakov to give to the Rebbe, and it was at night. Every night Rabbi Chadakov, before the Rebbe left, 770 to go home, Rabbi Chadakov would go in. So, we gave it to him before he went in, and he took it and went in. Then it took about a half hour till the Rebbe left 770 to go home. When the Rebbe left, Rabbi Chadakov gave us the Rebbe, because he was Magiya, the Rebbe, as soon as he gave it, the Rebbe was Magiya on the spot, but he told us, don't ever do it again, because of you, the Rebbe didn't go home for another half hour. The Rebbe was Megia, so we saw that the Rebbe did acknowledge it somehow, but it wasn't like an official acknowledgement. Rabbi Galitzky himself on Yechidus in Teves Tovshin Chov Zayin, the Rebbe also mentioned to him something about the Hanochas that are given out, but nothing that we could consider as a official acknowledgement that the Rebbe accepts these Hanochas as like an official Hanocha. Till it came to Parsha Tildis Tovshin Chov Ches, and then Parsha Vayishlach, where it talked about Yitzchok, and when it says Vaticheno Einov, and the Loshen that we wrote is something around that Yitzchok is given blind. Yitzchok was blind. So a few Farbrengens later, the Rebbe referred to it. When that Hanocha came out, that Shabbos, the Rebbe said, I received the Rishime, which means the Hanocha of Farbrengen, and there they wrote that Yitzchok is given blind, that Yitzchok was blind. And the Rebbe said, "Das schneit in the Even, this cuts into the ears, To use the Lashon, the Yitzchak was blind, they gave him blind. In other words, it's not a refined way to write it. You could say Yitzchak was hard of seeing, or other Lashonas, but not Yitzchak was blind. So on one hand, this showed us that the Rebbe is criticizing what we wrote. But on the other hand, it showed that the Rebbe acknowledged that this is Hanoch, this is a Rishimah of the Fabrengen, and he just criticized a certain prat. So on one hand, we felt bad that the Rebbe is saying that we wrote something that's not right. But on the other hand, the Rebbe acknowledged that this is a Rishimah, and that gave us encouragement that we should be able to continue and from then on do more and more. So it was mainly Rabbi Galitsky, Rabbi Avram Galitsky, and myself, and then sometimes some other Bochrim would also help out. And then later, people wrote Hanochos like Rabbi Goldstein, and then Rabbi Yossi Hecht, and then later on even more people, other people, even that's after I left already to Miami. So it continued later with this title, Hanochos Hatmimim, then it went on as it went on in the years later. But this is the way Hanochos Hatmimim started.